This is BNN, the Bloviation Nation Network.
Coming up next on BNN's Old Timey TV, those radio relics star in another episode of that venerable simulcasted radio and TV show, The Dullards Club for Men and Women Too. Listen as they attempt once again to make sense of the inane mediocrity that permeated the culture in those bygone days. We'll join the boys in a moment, but first, let's take a nostalgic trip down memory lane, or is it the Boulevard of Broken Dreams, where busy moms are talked at and encouraged to forego fresh produce in favor of preserved products from the fine folks at Peter Piper's Premium Pickled Peppers, picked with pride at the perfect point to provide pot-to-plate perfection at every meal.
Say, Mom, do you worry every day that your family is not getting enough thiamine, niacin, and creamy nougat to get them through the day? Of course you do. Pick up a pack of Peter Piper's Premium Pickled Peppers, the pickled peppers in the party pack that packs a punch. And you can get a one-peck package of Peter Piper's Premium Pickled Peppers in plain and peculiar. Now, preparing the premium peppers is a piece of cake. Just pop the peppers into a pot and parboil until peckish. The peckish peppers will plop out of the packet and you'll have prepared a potluck picnic that's sure to please your progeny. Don't let a paltry pickled pepper purchase place you in a perilous predicament. Make the perfect pick, the one-peck package of premium pickled peppers pickled with pride by
Peter Piper.
This is the Dullards Club for Men and Women Too, the podcast. And we do this every week or thereabouts. And that's as predictable as it ever gets on this show. I don't know if anything's been bugging you lately, but I think it was yesterday, I was watching local news. And local news is becoming, maybe in New York City, local news actually is somewhat legitimate. I don't know, maybe Boston it is, but certainly where I live, it's a bunch of kids who are like 2 years out of communications school, but they look nice. I think the only people who have any kind of editorial input into the news are the people who go through and cull the Facebook feed. One of the teasers that came up during the 6 o'clock news, when we come back, Donald Trump is weighing in on the Washington Commander's name and what it should be. And I'm saying to myself, okay, now wait a minute. This is the President of the United States.
Yeah.
And he's also getting a little bit of heat for this Jeffrey Epstein thing.
Yep.
So what does he do? He immediately throws some stuff against the wall.
Sure.
Things that he has, I mean, it's one thing to not be able to fire the Fed chairman, but to be able to mandate that a professional sports team changes their name. I mean, have we totally gone off the deep end here?
Well, not only that, but changes it back.
We were great then, weren't we? Don't we want to be great again? Because it was not only the Washington team, but if you can imagine,
Cleveland
there's a team in
Indians,
Cleveland.
that's another one.
I don't know that name, but I know the Guardians.
And I'm sure the MAGAs in the audience at those games are still doing the
Yeah, well, that's true. Anyway, the fact that there is a slow news day, or that is to say there's no news, that really speaks to the fact that news organizations, newspapers, or to a lesser extent radio and television stations, but all of them combined, have invested less and less and less in what you might call investigative journalism.
Right.
Looking for actual stories, being on hand, having their field offices out there and being in touch with what is going on in the world. So they're getting their information fed to them through social media.
Well, because they're afraid to be sued if they do their own investigative reporting and they find some answers that some people might not want to hear.
I don't know if it's fear. There is a certain amount of that certainly in the social zeitgeist these days. But I think really the predetermining factor has been profits.
Well, by Stephen Colbert and the Late Late Show or whatever. That's the latest axe to fall on someone. It's the
you talked about Stephen Colbert, Don, in that situation. That had to do in taking him off. I think the overriding sense that there could be a lawsuit involved that had a lot of play. It had a lot to do with it. But the other thing that it had to do with is just the reality of people just not watching late night TV anymore. I mean, we've kept this institution going since the late 1950s.
Yeah.
And there were 3 networks and 3 basic places where you could get information. And now people just don't watch late night TV. And there's really no reason to be paying somebody $17 million a year and then their staff, 200 people work on that show.
Wow.
And the advertising revenue just isn't there. And
Right.
it makes sense for them to stop and to try something else or to use this medium in another way, in a way that can make them more money, because it's just a matter of time before Kimmel and Fallon go. Yeah.
I was just about to say, what surprised me more that anything happened was that it was Colbert rather than Kimmel, because Kimmel and Trump have had an ongoing sort of battle. Neither of them is shy to diss the other, vocally and publicly, and perhaps making money off that battle. But, you're right. One of the things I find interesting for me is that my only exposure to late night TV are the clips of them that I watch on YouTube.
Right.
If it's a guest I'm interested in, more often it's the monologue, part of the monologue based on the teaser, what they're going to be talking about. But if it's not a guest I'm interested in, I would not be watching. If I'm up that late, I'm frankly on YouTube or I'm on the computer doing something else other than watching live TV. Gone are the days when Geritol brought you this program,
Yeah, no, it's just a model it's seen its time.
I was
time
just
has
about to
passed,
say, yeah.
and they need somebody's going to come up with some other innovative way to use that time, and maybe it'll be infomercials from 11:30. God.
Well, I mean, and as I don't know about you, but so many people are cutting their cable, therefore they keep raising their rates for the streaming services.
Yeah.
It's all just gone topsy-turvy now. I don't know what's going to happen. Does anybody, other than local TV news, what are people watching on TV?
Maybe it's not even people. I saw an article the other day. They were doing an analysis of dogs' TV viewing habits.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. Certainly there have been animal-oriented shows, but those really were geared toward the humans. Now they've decided that, I guess, a certain cohort of the TV viewing population walks on 4 legs and barks.
The funny thing is, I think fewer and fewer people care anymore. I bet if you took a poll of 100 people, I wonder how many regularly watch broadcast TV. And if they do, how frequently?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a segment of the population that absorbs that.
It's funny you mention that, because just yesterday we're going shopping. I know that you don't, but my wife and I went grocery shopping. I don't know how it came up. We were talking about, she used to watch Stranger Things. That was a big show for a while, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Apparently, they've got a new season coming out. And she said, I don't know how they're going to do it. The cast, when that show started, they were like 14 and 15, and now they're in their 20s. How can they show that? They're not going to, are they going to age them, or are they going to change the whole storyline?
How long are these kids going to believe in the magical Upside Down, or whatever the name of the place is? But it was interesting. You said your wife watches it.
Yeah.
My wife watches it too. So
Really?
there must be some kind of a demographic, breakdown that says women of a certain
Any hot
age.
guys in there? I don't know. I have no idea about this, what the show is.
What's about Stranger Things?
Like alien spaceships, or, psychic ESP people, or just strange things like a large part of this show.
They can't decide which genre to put this show into: Stranger Things or true crime. And
That's a subtitle for the show, Knowledge Club, i.e. Stranger Things. I bet it's time.
it is. It's time, lest we be accused of committing a true crime on this podcast. We need to just take our breath and see what happens on the other side here. This is the Dullards Club, not the summer replacement. This is the actual show for those of you who have any questions about it. And we're going to return in just a few seconds, so stick around.
Rap, 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 rap it up.
We've got just a few things to clean up here as we circle the drain for yet another week on the Dullards Club for Men and Women too. Don, I don't know if you heard about this. Did you hear about the daredevil that died recently? His name is Felix Baumgartner, and apparently people have heard of him.
Oh, I heard the name, but I don't know anything about it. What happened?
Yeah, he won't. Before I tell you what happened to him, let me tell you, he has done things like jump from 24 miles in the air.
I heard something about that.
And they film it, and he has done other things. He's kind of the modern day Evel Knievel kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he very predictably, he died last week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Good.
He was, I don't know what he was doing. He was paragliding into something. But when I saw his obit,
did he mean to be into something?
I'm sure that wasn't part of the plan. But I'm not sure how these things actually are planned. But I was reading his obit, and his profession is daredevil. And it just happened. I was thinking, how does
one a thing to put on for a life insurance form?
Yeah, or a resume for that matter. What have you done? What qualifies you? And how do you become that? Is that a profession, really? Is it like a discipline, or is it a trade? Do you have to apprentice as a daredevil? How does that?
If you're able to do it for more than like 6 months, you probably become a professional.
Yeah, you're a daredevil, and you've got to find somebody to apprentice under who stays alive long enough to teach you a thing or two.
You learn from his mistakes or her mistakes. Yeah.
But I sometimes feel guilty about the fact that I am not feeling bad about this 56-year-old daredevil hitting the side of a pool. Apparently, he paraglided into a pool, but he hit the side of the pool and
missed it by that much.
Yeah, he did. He did, and which apparently is something that you shouldn't do.
He didn't watch enough old Roadrunner cartoons to know the Wile E. Coyote didn't do well with that kind of thing. Hey, two of the things I found are both on the road related, so I'm going to share them. One of them was just today, in fact. I was coming back from my morning walk, driving along. And there's so much, I don't know about where you are, but around here there's so much road work. Anyway, so here I am coming down the road, and I see trucks taking up a whole lane. It's a rural road, and I see a yellow-vested cop. Mm-hmm. And he's far enough in the distance, and I'm saying, okay, do I stop? Do I go? Whatever. And he slowly came walking out from between the trucks and kind of put a hand up. I'm saying, what the fuck? What the hell is that? Is that a hand out flat, or is it? Yeah. Is he waving? I'm talking to myself saying, what the hell do you want me to do? When you're that far away, you don't know, and it's a yellow vest with a yellow gloved hand.
Right.
It's pretty subtle, the distinction between a hand being held out straight and an arm waving you forward.
Right.
Which brought to mind the day before, a different place, and they had flagmen. They're standing there in their vest with a big pole. On the pole, one side has a red stop sign.
Right.
The other side, you flip it around and it says slow. Very simple. You can see that from 100 yards away. Oh, it's a red. Everybody knows the red stop sign.
Right.
I don't know why that hasn't been adopted. It's so much easier to see a damn sign that everybody knows rather than a subtle, is he waving or is he saying, no, don't go?
I don't want to get into that.
Your turn.
It's not fair for me to get into it. Did you know, just more of a rhetorical question, it has to do with poetry, which we've spoken of many times before, or maybe never. Is there another type of poet besides a spoken word poet?
I never gave it much thought.
I never really thought about it either, but I heard that somebody was coming to town and they were a spoken word poet, and I was thinking, why would I go to see somebody who wasn't a poet, who wasn't speaking?
Well, now, wait a minute.
What?
Let's take a Robert Frost or something like that. I don't think he went on tour. His poetry was in a book. It was a readable poet. The spoken word implies you can hear him. Regular poetry, you're reading it.
Right.
It's your
So-
own interpretation.
But aren't you hearing it in your brain?
It's
You're
your own
speaking it-
interpretation, buddy.
I
It's your
realize
own.
that.
It's your own voice. You may have Robert Frost sounding like Elmer Fudd. Somebody else may have him sounding like, Martin Luther King.
If the Elmer Fudd spoken word poet were to show up, I would go to see that. Was that everything you wanted to say?
No. I have one more thing. I
Oh,
have
go.
one,
Why don't you go?
One more, and it again goes back to On the Road. I saw this, and this dates how long ago I made this little note, because school was still in session. I got behind a bus, and the back of the bus said, "Unlawful to pass when red lights are flashing."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, unlawful. What the hell is the difference between that and illegal? Why do we need two different words to explain something that's against the law? If it's unlawful by the definition of the words, opposite, lawful, legal, you'd think that unlawful would be illegal.
And typically it is. We could add some moral to it.
No, to me, unlawful is like, you
moralistic,
probably
whatever.
shouldn't do that, but illegal is, you do that, your ass is going to go to jail.
So why don't we just say it's wrong to do it?
Yeah.
It's wrong to do it, and it would be right if you stopped.
Yeah, and it's wrong to make this go much longer, and it would be right if we stopped and said goodbye.
That would be a good thing, but before we do it, I had one more, and I've got to get it out.
shoot.
Because I'm not going to save, this one is not going to last. So I've got to get it out now.
Okay.
And that is just a very quick observation that there is this thing called green noise. And I was thinking that we should maybe employ it, underneath our podcast. But green noise, it can put you to sleep in 6 minutes, for what I've heard. So maybe it is our podcast, green noise. But it claims that it's better than pink noise or white noise.
Oh, come on.
So, keep that in mind. Next time you're having a
is it
difficult
like
time falling asleep.
eco-friendly noise or something? Why is it green?
They didn't get into it, and I fell asleep before they got into the explanation. So,
We better wrap it up before everybody else falls asleep.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. This is the Dullers Club for Men and Women, too. Thanks for sticking with us, and we hope to see you again right here next week. So, enjoy, and whatever you do, remember our credo, or our motto, or our ethos, or whatever the heck it is. Stay dull.
I'm going to need to extend this music.